Just trying to survive and learn to love along the way by Foreplay on EU3. Episode 125, Chapter 125 of Sneaking and Stumbling. Eijirou does his best to ignore his exhaustion as they run. A kiss and a quick nap wasn't nearly enough to erase all of his aches, and after sitting still for even that short bit of a time, they're easy to aggravate. He stumbles more than a few times, but Katsuki's hand is just enough to keep him on his feet for now. Eijirou's surprised his boyfriend's doing well right now, after the damage to his chest. If he looks closely enough, he could see the pink marks through the massive hole in Katsuki's shirt. And if he looks even closer, Eijirou can make out the pain Katsuki's so intent on hiding, though it's becoming more and more obvious as they run. Surprisingly enough, Todoroki is faring the best of the three of them. Recovery Girl must have dealt with his head injury completely, his nap dealing with the remnant side effects. Now their friend is running ahead, though he has to pause a few times to make sure they stay together. Eijirou stumbles again, this time barely staying on his feet. Guys, hold on, can we stop for a minute? The other boys do, both of them turning their attention to Eijirou. What's wrong, Kirishima? Are you hurt? Todoroki moves closer as Eijirou bends forward and places his hands on his knees. He knows that if he sits, he may not find the energy to stand again, so this is the most he's willing to do. No, just tired. And sore. Katsuki squeezes his arm in a comforting manner, while Todoroki decides to give him a few awkward pats on the back. Cats, you doing okay? Eijirou peers up at him through the mess his hair has become. Fine. Katsuki avoids his eyes. He knows that Eijirou can tell when he lies, and he clearly doesn't want to give anything away. Hey, Cats, you... Hate to break it up the moment, but we need to leave. Todoroki interrupts him from the spot near the corner of the next hallway. Eijirou and Katsuki hurry to his side and get a look around the corner. There's a small group of villains in the next hallway, and they're coming this way. The group is small enough that they could defeat them, but they don't want to attract any attention. Fuck. Where are we supposed to go? Katsuki is right. They can't move forward. Any attempts to get past the villains would result in them being spotted. But they can't go back either. It would be pointless to go back the same way they came, erasing any progress they made and returning with their classmates. We're hiding. Todoroki grabs Eijirou and Katsuki by their arms and starts dragging them toward the door. Except the door leads to a supply closet. Oi, fuck off. There's no way we can all fit in. Todoroki cuts Katsuki off by shoving him in the room. Eijirou is pushed far more gently. Todoroki squishes himself in a moment later. The door doesn't close. Katsuki lets out a curse as Eijirou is shoved practically on top of him. He tries to move over, but there's no room. This place is a glorified broom cupboard. Eijirou finds himself in an uncomfortable position. Normally, he's more than happy to be in such a close proximity to Katsuki, but usually that involves a couch or a bed, and not Todoroki. At least Eijirou and Todoroki are pressed back to back, avoiding any awkward touching. But the other boy's elbow is pressing hard into his back, and when he finally gets the door closed, Eijirou is so crushed he could hardly breathe. His breaths are coming out in light wheezes, so Katsuki tries to shift around, but he freezes when the voices of the villains get louder. Eijirou is worried that his loud breathing would give their position away. It's clear that his fear is shared with Katsuki, pressing a gentle hand over his mouth. He's getting more and more uncomfortable as time goes on. The small room isn't providing nearly enough air, and it's becoming overwhelmingly hot in here. Eijirou is trapped between two people with heat-related quirks, and he's starting to become dizzy from all the sensations. He twists his hand in Katsuki's shirt to keep them from shaking as voices pause in front of their door. Despite his lightheadedness, Eijirou holds his breath, and the lack of any noise tells him that the others are doing the same. His mouth is released once the villains are beyond their hearing, and Eijirou takes a deep, heavy breath. He presses his forehead to Katsuki's collarbone and focuses solely on filling his lungs with oxygen. He grips on the other boy's shirt, loosening a little, as His breathing steadies. Todoroki makes them wait a few more minutes to be safe, but as soon as he deems the coast clear enough, he makes his way out of the closet. Eijirou is stumbling after him. He leans on the wall to remain his bearings, Katsuki doing the same right next to him. Todoroki seems unfazed, standing steady in the middle of the hallway and ignoring the two of them. He eventually runs out of patience, though, and Eijirou is filled with dread when it's time to leave. They don't come across a single person for a while, but there's a commotion as they round about a corner. The sound of fighting. Todoroki peers around the corner, then disappears, drawn to whatever fighting is happening. Unsure if their help will be needed, Eijirou looks around the corner as well, breathing a sigh of relief when he sees that Todoroki and the girls have it handled. Hell, Yaoyorozu and Uraraka could have dealt with it without Todoroki. The two of them are breathing heavy, but not a single villain is left standing. Most of them are knocked out with what looks like random things Yaoyorozu used her quirk to create, and every single one of them is tied up with rope. It doesn't look like Todoroki actually did anything besides help tie people up. They don't linger on their reunion, instead moving along in the hopes of reuniting with Izuku and Hitoshi so they could get the hell out of here. Todoroki takes the lead once more, followed closely by Eijirou and Katsuki. The girls take the rear, keeping an eye on the hallway behind while staying with the group. They use a similar method of sneaking as before, Todoroki looking around corners to deem them safe or not. It's been working pretty well, until it doesn't. Eijirou rounds the corner and crashes into Todoroki when the other boy stops without a word of warning. Katsuki's hands on his waist steadies him, and he presses close to Eijirou as they lean around Todoroki to see what caused the sudden halt. There, standing at the other end of the hallway, are Izuku and Shinsou. The two of them look completely worn out, covered in far more bruises than the last time Eijirou saw them. He could even spy a few open bleeding wounds from the distance, so Eijirou doesn't particularly want to see what they look like up close. Nonetheless, the group moves, and they meet the two boys in the middle. Eijirou resolutely does not look below their faces, and he's further encouraged in this action by the sharp gasp that Todoroki lets out. The group is back together, but what now? They're deep in the school, lost in hallways that Eijirou has never visited. There's countless of villains out there, just waiting for them to turn the wrong corner and be ambushed. And who knows what lies outside the school. I just want them to catch a break. Can they not catch a break? Please. I want them to catch a break. We're 2 chapters away. I'm scared. Unless the last 2 chapters... Okay, chapter 26 doesn't seem to be that long. What about chapter 27? I'm trying not to look at the name. Chapter 27 is also not that long. What? There's no way this could be resolved with under 20 minutes. Okay. Chapter 26 is called Of Left Behind and an Outnumbered Group. Despite the reluctance, Izuku agrees to split up their group twice. What the fuck? What the fuck? Actually. Okay. I do not know what's happening. I do not know what. I'm scared. Why? There's no way this could be resolved. What? Okay, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.